Thank you so much, Hans. And to you all, good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbia Online, a congregation striving to embody courageous love, radical welcome, and deep connection. We are so grateful to be gathered this morning, remembering that our church is not a building, but is the beloved community that we create together. I'm the Reverend Molly Housh Gordon, minister of this congregation, and I'm so glad to welcome you to our community. Although we miss gathering in person on Sundays, our online services have given us the opportunity to connect with many people in parts all over the world that we might not have otherwise met. We always wish to welcome, in particular, any members of the Jefferson City Unitarian Universalist Fellowship joining us, as well as all of you in Missouri and beyond. As usual, we have a few comments of protocol for our online worship. We are in Zoom and streaming live on Facebook. For those of you joining us on Zoom, we are in webinar mode, so we can't hear or see you. Feel free to eat your breakfast in your PJs. And don't worry if your day's a bit noisy, you will probably hear noise over here at my house. You will be able to say hello and interact with the service through the chat feature. Make sure that you select panelists and attendees so everyone can see your comment if you're with us on Zoom. And of course, on Facebook, there is the comments section. These sections are particularly useful if you want to share a joy or sorrow when we reach that portion of the service. We also want to share a few notes about accessibility. We are using Zoom's native auto captioning service, which means you will see automatically generated subtitles at the bottom of your screen. You have several options for those if you click that live transcript or closed caption button. If you don't want to see the subtitles or find them distracting, you can use the hide subtitles option. Or if you prefer your captions to appear as a live transcript on the side of the screen, you can choose the option view full transcript in that same menu. We know that auto captioning is never entirely accurate, but we hope it will be close. We will also be providing spoken descriptions of the videos and images we use. And we'd like to invite you to contact us if you have any other accessibility or inclusion needs that we can strive to meet in our online worship. You can email me at minister@uucomo.org. If this is your first time worshiping with us, we'd like to invite you to fill out a digital visitor's card at the link provided in the chat. Let us know a little bit about you so we can keep you updated about what we're up to. And as always, I would like to take a moment to thank the folks that make our online worship possible. Thank you to today's online usher, Linda Valentine, today's worship associate, Tim Dickerson, and always to our amazing staff, April Rodegaro running slides, religious educator, Jamila Batchelder, music director, Jeremy Wagner, and staff collaborative pianist, Hans Bridger-Harith. Let us now settle in to this time and space that we have set aside to be together across the distance and relax with the help of our prelude. There is always a new day. It may not be what you expected. You may have to collect some broken pieces and wrap them in a handkerchief to attend to later. You may have to ever so gently put fresh bandages on the wounds from the day before and tend to your neighbor's wounds too. They are still raw. But then again, as daylight dawns, there will be sun to warm our tired bones, and sweet air to breathe, and trees to pull our eyes upward as we gaze into the glory of possibility. Lean into possibility. A new day is here. Our gathering hymn is number 40, The Morning Hangs a Signal, and will be led live by our music director, Jeremy Wagner, and pianist Hans Hareth.
We now come to our chalice lighting in words of affirmation. As we share an image of our church chalice on the screen, you may wish to light a candle at home or look in the chat for a digital chalice. As we now light our chalice, symbol of our faith in the sustaining cup of community and the inextinguishable flame of the human spirit, will you please join me in lifting your voices in your homes across our city, country, and world to share our weekly words of affirmation shown on the slide and shared in the chat. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Good morning. This month, our question at UUCC is, how do we stay grounded? And so I want to share with you a reading I've shared before, my favorite reading on grounding, and then I will lead you in a grounding meditation. This is Grounding by Jess Reynolds. On my worst days, it is gravity I am most grateful for. The way the earth pulls at me from her core, yearns for me, keeps me pressed tightly against her surface. When my own core is hollowed out, when I have no more mass than a leaf dead on the branch, still, this is enough for the earth to find me. She reaches for what little I have and says, stay. Every meditation I have ever done begins by asking me to ground myself. This is not so much an action as it is inaction, surrender, a voluntary abandonment of my own edges and tidy packaging. Sit with me now. Press the soles of your feet back into the ground you sprang from. Feel the weight of your body and know that it is glorious. You are born of soil and sun, and all the heaviness of the earth is a call to you. The earth is reaching for you. Reach back. Reach back. And so I want you to take a moment now to get into a comfortable position. If you're comfortable doing so, you may want to lie on the ground, but find a way to feel in contact with the ground, with other surfaces. If you can lay your head back against something, lay your body back in some way. And feel the pull of gravity. Feel relaxed and weighty. Feel the earth finding that weight, calling it. Feel that pull holding you securely and lovingly to the solid, gentle surface of the earth. Feel gravity pulling at you. Take a moment to feel that gravity at the base of your spine. The easy heaviness there. Feel that sense of gravity all along your back. Feel the weight of your chest, of all the cares you hold there, and let them relax, knowing they are held by gravity, by the earth, and that you don't have to hold them alone. And bring your attention to where your head lies. Feel your head resting securely, cradled. Let your face and jaw and scalp relax as they too are held. Feel gravity pulling all along your arms, down to your hands, your fingertips, and let your hands fall open. Feel the weight of them. Feel gravity all down your legs, through the backs of your knees, your ankles, your feet. And know that you are not alone in having to hold yourself together. The earth is holding you too. Let go of the effort of holding yourself. Let yourself melt a little into the earth. Let your edges relax and lie here for a moment, feeling the pull of Earth's gravity on you. And when you are ready, remember that you create gravity too, as everything with mass does. Starting from your core, pull yourself back inward into the outlines of yourself, tugging everything back together. And then pull even more. Pull the earth with all its ancient energy inward toward you, into each part of you, your belly, your chest, your head, your limbs. And now, take a moment to feel the gentle tug of other people on you and you on other people. Can you feel the gravity between you and your family, of other people in your life? Spend a moment with this force that connects us all. And when you're ready, open your eyes and sit up.
Thank you, Jamila, for grounding us so deeply and profoundly. Part of why we're exploring this question this month of staying grounded is because the world is very spinny around us, but also because there is so much for us to do, so much spiritual work, so much liberation work, and our grounding is what enables us to do those things. This morning, I want to invite you into a piece of that spiritual work as we now share a moment of mourning. This last week, our nation passed the terrible marker of 400,000 beloved ones lost to COVID-19. And on Tuesday, shared in a moment of national mourning at last. Churches all over the country rang bells in grief and in memory, including those Unitarian Universalist congregations who are blessed with church bells. This morning, we will take a quiet moment to listen to those bells from our sister churches, imagining in their tolling both the keening cries and the quiet grief of so many. As we prepare our hearts, will you join me in the spirit of prayer with these words from the Reverend Megan Visser? Let us now remember the more than 2 million people who have died from COVID-19 worldwide, including over 400,000 lives lost in the United States, 6,392 dead in Missouri, 67 lost here in Boone County, and our dear one Andrew lost from our own congregation. We hold up each precious life. We give thanks for love given and received. We pray that each memory will be a blessing and each soul find peace. We pray for all of us who feel that gap where our beloved one once shared with us in the fullness of life. We honor our own grief and fragile hearts and hold the grief of others. We ask for strength to enter the place in our souls where we meet our greatest memories and find our clearest hopes. We pray for those who are even now ill with this disease. May they know the kindness of steady, caring hands and hear the voices of all who call them beloved. We pray for the healthcare workers and caregivers who dedicate their lives to health and healing. We ask that each be blessed with kind hands and courageous hearts. May mercy visit each of you who have had to face impossible choices 1,000 times over. May you be carried always in the loving embrace of the sacred. As we feel this collective grief together, made up of so many very particular losses and mournings, let us be held together by all that connects us. However you name the holy in the time of your grieving, whichever words you cry out as the wounds of loss break open, may your heart be comforted by the never-ending power of love. As we now listen to the bells. Amen. May the earth and the love that connects us hold tenderly this enormous collective grief. And may we also hold together all those smaller sorrows and worries and yearnings and joys that make up the fullness and preciousness of our lives. As we do each week, we will now share the joys and sorrows and prayers of our community. As on the screen, there is an image of lit candles and our joys and sorrows stones from the church. Let us hold one another in heart across the distance, remembering our connections amid life's joys and sorrows, all of them, and the fullness that they create together. We did not have joys and sorrows submitted at our website this week, so I invite you to share your joys and sorrows in the chat, and I will read aloud as many as I am able. We join our hearts with Robin, who shares joy for a bloodless inauguration. We join our hearts with Rebecca and Pack in great joy for granddaughter Penny, born on January 12th. We join our hearts with Christine in joy that she has an appointment to receive a COVID-19 vaccine tomorrow. And Sarah shares joy that her parents are scheduled to get the vaccine today. What hope. We join our hearts together with Tonette in holding she and Nathan's son, who suffered a serious seizure yesterday and do not know the cause. Tonette, we send you and your son deepest love and care and healing wishes. We join our hearts with Dottie, who shares joy that in a new signal of offering true humanity to our migrant friends, among many changes, this new administration is changing the word alien to non-citizen, and their 100-day moratorium on deportations means some of those in sanctuary for years are walking free today. We join our hearts with Abigail, who shares joy at being able to end therapy for now yesterday and hope for the future. We join our hearts with Lisa in joy and anticipation of good health that Sydney got her first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. We are so relieved. We join Kira in grief and anger that the lack of infrastructure meant a young woman needing a ride to get home from Jeff City to Tipton was assaulted by the man who was supposed to be giving her a way home. We join our hearts with Barb Tucker, who shares joy and gratitude for having had only a mild case of COVID and for recovering well. We are so glad and relieved, Barb. These and so many more joys and sorrows that have not been spoken, but are shared among us, we hold together in the light of love. With these words of prayer from Lynn Cox. Spirit of life, ground of our being, root of mystery, bring us together now. Bring us close to the earth. Ear to the whispering grass, quietly, attentively, waiting with slow breaths. Listening for the very stones to cry out with their rocky stories of tectonic plates meeting and parting. Their mineral memories, molten rocks flowing and joining. They're ancient legends of stars born out of the collapse of other stars. Help us to remember. Help us to piece together our oneness with matter, our oneness that matters. With a deep breath, may we rise star stuff, walking and rolling across the surface of an impossible blue-green planet. May we join together to heal what is divided. May we find wholeness within, without, among, and between. Eternal source, seed of the universe, help us to grow peace. Amen. Our hymn is number 50, Darkness Nears, performed in this video by UU Church member Sam Buffalo. The video features the lyrics to the hymn next to several different still images of trees covered in snow. We invite you, if you are moved, to sing along from home.
Our reading this morning is from the poet Rilke, Book of Hours, as translated by Joanna Macy and Anita Barrows. How surely gravity's law, strong as an ocean current, takes hold of the smallest thing and pulls it towards the heart of the world. Each thing, each stone, blossom, child is held in place. Only we, in our arrogance, push out beyond what each belong to for some empty freedom. If we surrendered to Earth's intelligence, we could rise up rooted like trees. Instead, we entangle ourselves in knots of our own making and struggle lonely and confused. So like children, we begin again to learn from the things because they are in God's heart. They have never left him. This is what the things can teach us: to fall, patiently to trust our heaviness. Even a bird has to do that before he can fly.
Our musical interlude is an original vibraphone composition by Sam Buffalo entitled Universe Moving. Sam is pictured in the video in a room with blue walls and sheer white curtains. He is a white man with curly brown hair and glasses playing a large instrument in front of him. He holds 2 mallets in each hand, and during some of the faster parts of the song, the camera shows a close-up of his hands and mallets. Thank you so much to Sam for that beauty. There is this thing that bodies do. Some do it less than we would like. Some do it more than is helpful. And maybe there are a handful out there who do it just right. There is this thing that bodies do, which is to hold feelings at bay until it is safe to feel them. Last week, my parents in Oklahoma got their COVID-19 vaccines, and they sent me a secret selfie, though photos weren't allowed. I shocked myself with weeping when the message came through. Sobs so racking that I can feel the echo of them in my chest right now as I speak to you. Their protection shifted some tectonic plate I had just barely been keeping in place. And the crushing worry I had not known I was holding erupted, hot adrenaline and hope filling my veins. Overtaken by tangled fear and relief, I sobbed and snotted and lay wrung out in bed, phone glowing next to me with Band-Aids and big smiles. We have all learned a terrible skill this year, a skill some of us already knew very well, taught by world-tilting grief and endless nights, or at our mother's knee as she prepared us for a world built to break us. We have learned this terrible skill, how to push past what is possible to endure, how to go about our lives when the bottom has fallen out, how to pile more upon arms overflowing, swallow it down and button it in so we are not overcome. It is a necessary, terrible skill, small as we are in the vast universe, unrelenting as life tends to be, and even worse, the deadly systems we create. If we felt all the worry, all the hunger, all the grief, all the rage at once, it might kill us. So we sip slowly, and our muscles and bones soak up what we cannot yet swallow. Until we make it to a resting place, a way station of solid ground beneath our bodies, and collapse, shaking with the effort of all this holding in, all this holding on. It happened to me again yesterday when our community organizer, Brittany, sent me an update from the migrant justice team. Deportations halted, it read. Lawyers are drafting letters that will become freedom. And you know those parents separated from their babies? They're bringing them back. I crumpled to the couch and wept. We have so much to grieve now that a new day has brought us a moment to breathe. And if your muscles are aching from all of the clench and wince of 4 years or 40 or 400, you cannot forget sometimes to pry your fingers from the wheel and let gravity bring you down to your knees. Fall if the ground around you is soft. Weep if you want, or stare at the wall, or scream. There's a million ways to feel. To bring all that you've pushed away up through bone and blood and move it out and through, to loosen and bend and stretch and be. Just don't forget. Don't keep marching on past this place without noticing that maybe now for just a moment it is safe. We will each reach a place to stop and feel and mend and heal before we must pick it all up and keep going again. And if this isn't your space and today isn't your day, I think your body knows the way. If you are listening, look for that spot where the ground is plush and the gravity is faithful and the earth will hold you. Look for that spot to let go and feel. This month at the UU Church of Columbia, we've been talking about staying grounded. which is kind of hilariously timed because this is the month when we had a white supremacist insurrection attempt from outside and within our government, culminating in a violent attack on our Congress, all on a Wednesday. This is the month when threats and rumors of threats against state houses, liberal churches, and our democracy itself circulated and swirled around us as we waited with bated breath to see if we would indeed experience a peaceful transfer of power, the bedrock of our democracy. And I don't know about you, but for a good amount of time this month, I have felt anything but grounded. In truth, at many points, I felt barely able to do anything but worry and spin, while at the same time also feeling frantic to come back down to earth because there is so much work to be done. I find that when I feel the most overwhelmed by the too muchness of this life, my sense of ungrounding is often rooted in my fear that the paradox at the heart of things will pull me apart and send me flying away from myself. There is so much pressure in that paradox, isn't there? How can we feel such disappointment and hope at the same time and stay intact? How can I be present to terror and beauty all at once and not spin out? How can we love and lose and then love even more and have any hope of remaining whole? How can we be in community together, all of us, without shattering apart? It all swirls and swirls. And in heightened times like this, the too muchness of it all can feel beyond ungrounded. It can feel celestial, extraterrestrial, astral, solar storms of how much can the human spirit bear. In these satellite spinning moments, the thing I most need to remember is that we are made of stardust, but we can rely upon the physics of this earth. In the words of Jess Reynolds that Jamila shared earlier, there is this fairly unchanging truth that we can all embrace, quote, the way the earth pulls at me from her core, yearns for me, keeps me pressed tightly against her surface. You see, there's this thing that bodies do. They obey gravity. Even when we feel we might fly apart, flung out of orbit by all of the forces of life and love acting upon us, still the earth pulls us to her. Still our core pulls us to ourselves. Still the pieces of our broken hearts hang close and are not flung away. While you are on this earth, though it may be very hard to feel, in some very real way, the center holds. It can do no other. So maybe staying grounded means we just let it. What would it be like for you today to trust gravity? To fall to the ground with all your pain and all your hope and all your questions and aching love, and to feel the earth clasp all of it and you tight to her surface. To find that you can fall apart, but the pieces aren't going anywhere and none of them will be lost. To let go, as Jamila told us earlier, of the effort to hold yourself together. And to notice that you're held anyhow. To understand that staying grounded isn't some Herculean effort so much as a surrender to what always, always is. The ground is right here. This gravity is very literal. A law of science. Go lie in the crunchy brown grass this afternoon and feel its pull. But of course, I love a metaphor. And I think there is a spiritual gravity that echoes the forces holding us close to the Earth's body. That unseen, mysterious force that holds our hearts together and does not let them fly apart. In the role of pastor, which strikes me every day anew with awe and trembling, I have this incredible privilege of walking with people when their worlds are shattering, as well as when they are blossoming. And I have learned about gravity, spiritual gravity, from watching people go beyond what is possible to endure because they must, and keep living when the bottom has fallen out because there's no other choice, and be overcome with grief and face death. And over again in this work, I have witnessed that the center holds inexplicably. And the ground is always there, reliably. And that we are pulled together inexorably. Thank physics. There is a spiritual gravity that echoes the forces holding us close to the Earth's body. It is a force of coherence that holds us mysteriously intact, even as the deep paradoxes of this life threaten to tear us apart. This force holds us to our own cores, and it is the force of connection that binds us to one another, even as we each spin amidst our own struggles. A relational gravity that keeps us all tangled together and rooted in our interdependence and never, ever alone. Even as explosive times fling us apart from one another, gravity is always working to pull us back together. The gravity of the entire universe is stronger than the gravity of the forces that would pretend our isolation or benefit from it. We are pulled always back into entanglement with one another. Our interdependence is held in and defined by the very movements of the stars and planets. And it is in presence to this interdependence that our true freedom lies. It is in respect for the orbiting collective that our liberation is found. And the good news is we don't need to hold it all together ourselves. Whether it is these networks of interdependence or these pieces of our own hearts. We don't have to hold it all together ourselves. Gravity has it covered. In these times that are traumatizing us all, staying grounded is more important than ever, but perhaps it's not so very difficult. Perhaps we need not work so hard to stay grounded. Perhaps we just stop resisting gravity. Just, in the words of Rilke, trust your heaviness and the pull toward the heart of the world. Just let yourself be held. So what would it be like for you to trust gravity today? Maybe there is a space for your body to rest. Maybe there is something you have been holding that needs release. Maybe there are some feelings to be felt at last. Maybe there is a relationship that needs less clutching and more allowing. Maybe there is a dream that needs less effort and more presence. Maybe today is the day you sit or lie down and just feel the earth reaching for you. Maybe today is the day you reach back. If If not today, maybe another day. I think your body will know when it's time. Our song of response is a lovely centering chat by singer-songwriter Allie Halpert, Loosen, Loosen. Singing along at home is highly encouraged as we play this video, which shows a still image of a tree by the water at sunset, with the name of the artist and song overlaid on top in white text. I invite you to sing.
Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Now is the time in our service when we join in the spiritual practice of generosity, guiding our hearts away from the fear and scarcity all around us, and remembering that it is by sharing and supporting one another that we feel most human. This morning's collection will support the ministries and mission of our congregation. As we take a moment to give, we will be treated by another musical selection from staff collaborative pianist Hans Bridger Harith.
Our closing words are from the Reverend Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage. For deep down, there is another truth. You are not alone. Even now, especially now, you are not alone. We are with you across the distance. Go in blessing, dear ones, and be a blessing to a world that needs our care. Let us sing our benediction.
Share our benediction, lovingly before we part.
Thank you all for joining us this morning. It's been so good to be together in this way. We hope that you will join us for coffee hour so that we can see your faces, hear from you, check in together, have some small group time to catch up with one another. We hope that you'll join us next week for worship on Sunday. It's going to be our Founders Sunday as we celebrate the 70th anniversary of our congregation on Thursday. So please do plan to join us to ponder our history and our future together next week. We'll see you in coffee hour for now. Stay safe. Have a good week. Take care.